Before we jump into today's podcast, we wanted to tell you about a fundraising event that RocketPWR are taking part in. On October 17th in London, RocketPWR take on Battle Cancer. RocketPWR Apparel has up to 3 teams entering this year's event. Battle Cancer is a fundraising campaign that brings the world together through fitness to speed up the progress in life-saving cancer research. Cancer is the second leading cause to death globally. It accounts for 1 in 6 deaths around the world. Each member of the RocketPWR team has been affected by cancer in some way, shape or form. We are asking you to help us reach our desired goal by donating what you can. Our goal is £3,500. That seems a lot, but let me put that into perspective for you. If each of our Instagram followers donate £1 as of recording this, we can raise £3,525, which is a significant amount that will go a long way to supporting the cause. The total amount raised will be split between each athlete's chosen cancer charities. On behalf of RocketPWR Apparel, thank you in advance. In this episode of the RocketPWR Podcast, we speak with Greek CrossFit athlete Nikos Papanikolas. We speak about Nikos's Podium Picks for this year's CrossFit Games, his most recent strength cycle and what this looked like, and also what's next for Nikos as a CrossFit athlete. Oh, and did I mention that we also talk about the banned substance abusers within Greek CrossFit? We asked Nikos about how the Greek CrossFit community handled the news of not one, but both Greek champions Lefteris Theofanidis and Anna Fragkou testing positive for banned substances. On that note, let's dive straight in. Welcome onto the RocketPWR Podcast. Thank you for taking your time to join us. How are you keeping?
Thank you very much for your
hospitality.
Hospitality.
No. So, as always, we're going to dive straight in, and we're going to start the podcast with a little bit of fun to make you feel comfortable. For you, we're going to do Podium Picks. The Podium Picks are who you think will end up on the podium at the CrossFit Games this year. So we're going to do top 3, male and female. So starting off in 3rd position, I want you to name the 3rd place male and female who you think will end up on the podium, not who you want to end on the podium. We will do a second Podium Picks once we've done this one. So in 3rd position on the male's side, who do you see being on the podium at this year's CrossFit Games?
I think at the 3rd place this year it will be Vellner. I'm not really fan, but I think that this year he will be much better like last year. Because last year it was a little bit difficult, the system. The first time it was this system. So I think this year he has to be in the podium.
Exactly. And he has been very consistent throughout prior years. So if he's not on the podium, and that's even if he goes to the CrossFit Games, being across the border in Canada, whether he can actually make it all the way to Aromas and actually end up competing, unless it's just going to be a US competition. Yeah. On the 3rd, on the female side.
On the female, I think it's a little bit more difficult, but if I had to say the 3rd place, the one not I don't want, but the one maybe is the 3rd, maybe it will be Thorisdottir.
Yeah, Annie.
Davidsdottir.
Oh, Catherine. She hasn't been on the podium for some time.
Because Annie's pregnant, so it's a little bit difficult.
Oh, yeah, she is. I completely forgot that when you said it. I was like, yeah, she would be a great pick.
Yeah. She will be a great pick, but this year, maybe he will be with her baby. So maybe the other Davidsdottir, he'll be 3rd.
In 2nd place on the male side, who's that going to?
I think it will be Noah Olsen.
So I'm presuming that you think Matt is going to take the top spot?
Yes.
How close do you think Olsen and Matt are going to be this year?
I think this year it will be a little bit more difficult because I am looking Noah Olsen training and stuff, everything, every day. Yeah. I follow him. So I think this year he will be the one who will be next to him, so close, because we saw also last year he was close, but the last thing, the details, maybe he lost the game because of this.
Yeah, his mentality going into this 2020 games must
Yeah,
be pretty high, just because he took all the way to the
yeah.
line with Matt
I,
last
I,
year.
I think also that he's a little bit young and he has the time to fix everything, the medality, the training, everything to one day to be the first in the podium.
And then jumping into the female side in the second position, who's that going to?
I think second will be Sigmus daughter.
The two daughters.
I
Nice.
am I am very fan for her. But if I have to say the second, I will say Davis daughter. Davis daughter, yes.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So we've just spoke a little bit about your first pick on the male side going to Matt Fraser. This will
Yes.
be his 5th year in a row. Do you believe that there is anyone this year that could potentially dethrone him? Or do you think that he's just going to run away with it?
I think he will try this year to take this first place, maybe to go over its running, and after, I don't know, maybe he has in his mind to stop it, or don't know, to compete in a team like Rich Running. But I think he will try to beat him.
Do you think Matt Fraser will continue until he loses? Or do you think that he will pull out of the games before he loses so he never has to come second again?
I think he will do the same.
So
He
then
will,
he never loses.
he will try not to lose.
And then coming in first place on the female side, who's that going to?
Tommy.
Standard. I should have been able to guess that. Do you
Yeah.
think that there's anyone that will give her a run for her money, or again, do you think that she's going to run away with it?
I don't know. I think she will try some years more to compete and to try to get first, because she's young and she show to the people that he wants to win every year. But I don't know. Maybe I don't think she will stop if she wins this year.
We're going to dive a bit deeper into Greek CrossFit. So,
Yes.
as a Greek athlete yourself, I wanted to talk to you about the sport of CrossFit within Greece. CrossFit HQ has recently announced that Greek national champion Lefteris Theofanidis was in breach of CrossFit's drug testing policy. Theo placed third in the CrossFit Open worldwide and tested positive for a banned substance during the 2019 Dubai CrossFit Championships in December. He's now been banned for 4 years. Anna Fragkou, who placed ninth at the CrossFit Games in 2019, also tested positive for banned substances within the sport and is now again banned for 4 years. Do you feel that this is giving CrossFit a bad reputation within Greece? Is it's not only one of your top athletes, it's actually both of your top athletes?
Yes, exactly. It was both the top in Greek this time. I think in general that the system in CrossFit the last years it's a little bit weird. So especially the last 2 years, when every top national, the first national champion goes to the games.
Yeah.
So this rule is a little bit uh, hard for the champions, because if you see in the games there are champions from small countries, and I think it's a little bit uh, like a surprise when someone from a small country, the first time CrossFit Games, has a very good performance, like Anna Fragkou and like Lefteris Theofanidis the last year at the Open. So it's normal if you see in games, normally the first place are Americans from Canada or from Australia. Someone from a small country like Greece will be in the
Yeah.
ninth. So I think that a little bit is normal, but I am not also in the same place like CrossFit Games, like the way they make the drunk policy, for example.
You're in and around the Greek CrossFit community. What were the feelings towards these athletes when the news broke that they both tested positive for a banned substance? Because being Greek national champions, they're the face of your country at the CrossFit Games, and for both of them to both test positive, your emotions as a Greek athlete who is striving to get to that position, how are you, your friends, your box, and everyone in Greece?
Look, for us, it was a little bit not so nice to hear that both of them, the same time, was in the drug policy and was in the middle of the big event like CrossFit Games, because all the word spoken about them the last year, especially after their post in the Instagram. If you see,
Yeah.
it was a little bit hard, and it was like we go over the CrossFit and we try um, to make it a little bit big, the event.
Well, touching on that a little bit, as you said, Theo, he posted on Instagram, and it wasn't just one post, it was several posts that he
Yes,
put up. He put up on the one when he was doing back squats, big numbers. He put, I don't give a bleep. And
yes.
then there was one, and he's got his hashtag, who cares? Do you think he was a bit naive in thinking that he wasn't going to get caught?
Because I have trained with Theo, and
Yeah.
because one period we had the same trainer. I think that he did it because that's himself. He talk like this, he's like this, he's very very opposite to anything. He's like strict or in the rules, you know what I mean. When there are rules, he's always from the other side. So I think it was real, his reaction, but the world, uh, because they didn't know him close to him, they don't know him how he's like a person.
We had a close relationship with Theo, and we
Yes,
got on with him very well. Other than taking the banned substances, he was really quite a genuine, nice guy, and he was an incredible, talented athlete. Like, he still had to put in the work to get there, although he was taking these substances, and he really did put in the hard graft to be a good athlete.
yes, he is a very good athlete. He is working very hard, like all the athletes in when they are in this level. But like I told you before, because it was in a small country, and in general all the drug policy, all the athletes are like in from s- small countries, or they are not a big name like Matt Fraser or Vellner or something like that. Maybe they just try to say that we did the drug policy. The big names are okay, the small names are not okay. So
This is exactly what I was going to get to next. Because he come third worldwide, he's been fifth fittest in Greece for 5 years running. Because he got to go to the CrossFit Games and he become this household name, what seemed like it was overnight, but it was over several years of hard work. Do you feel that they actually tried making an example out of him to show that they are using their drug testing policies? Because I'm sure there are other athletes that are taking drugs and banned substances, but they're big name athletes. So that would tarnish the name of CrossFit if they were to say, this person is taking banned substances. So actually, Theo is a relatively new name. We're going to come down on him and show people that the drug testing policies are real.
yeah, exactly. I believe exactly the same, and I think that it will continue happen the same for athletes with not a big name or with not a lot of big sponsors. Maybe it will happen the same again, because if you think that one day, for example, they say that Matt Fraser is it was positive in drug policy. The CrossFit, it will be like nothing the next day.
Exactly. And they did exactly the same with Ricky Garrard several years ago. He come in, absolutely smashed it, did terrific at the CrossFit Games. He swore to God that he wasn't taking any drugs, and then it come out months later that he was taking bad substances, and he again just come out of nowhere, the same as Theo did.
Yes, exactly. It was almost the same example because he was also 22. He was the first time he was rookie, and after the reaction, it was almost the same.
On a positive note, I want to talk to you about your most recent strength cycle that you've been on. It was a 12-week cycle, if I am correct, which was very much Olympic weightlifting based. The end of this cycle saw you come out with many PBs, 110 kilo snatch, 132 kilo clean and jerk, 135 kilo clean. Can you tell us more a bit about this block of training, your daily routine, what it looked like?
Yes, I will tell you my feelings about this strength series that it's finished yesterday. Because I will start before 3 months ago when my last throwdown it was in Greece. So after that, my program says that I have to do 12 weeks of weightlifting. So I started the first 4 weeks with structural bodybuilding. So I give a lot of time to build muscles and to work on muscles that before with the normal CrossFit or the weightlifting maybe it wasn't active. So I spent 4 weeks to do this and to be able to start the next 8 weeks of weightlifting. So I start the 5th week, and my number it was like not so big but not so bad. And because from the next year I want to compete as an elite athlete, I just find the opportunity in these quarantine days and weeks to work on this. And also for me, it was easy because I just wanted one bar, some kilos, and one rack. So I worked every day on weightlifting. My sessions was like very big, very stressful. And at the end of the day, some days I didn't have the power even if to eat.
How many hours a day were you training, and were you splitting your sessions into 2 training blocks a day or just the one?
In this period, I just did one session in the day, but it was like 2 hours or 2.5. Some days 3 hours, but it was only one.
Can you tell us what that 2 to 3 hours look like?
Yes. Normally, I spend 20-25 for my warm-up, mobility work, and stuff like that to get ready to take the bar and start lift. And after, normally, I start the warm-up, depends on what I have to do. The most of the times it was combination. I started with snatch. After I had clean and jerk, and 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I had legs. So 2 times back squat, 1 time day 5, it was front squat. And every week the numbers, the percentage was higher.
During this block of training, what made this block of training so much different to what you had done in the past for your numbers to go through the roof? Is it just because you spent so much time doing the accessory work to build the muscles that weren't engaging, to then give you that extra explosive power in the lifts, and then you spent a lot more time doing compound lifts like the squats and so forth. Did you spend a lot of time on technique?
I will tell you exactly, because you say a magic word, the technique. So last year I had a very big injury in my meniscus. So last year I couldn't do. I wasn't able to do squat, front squat, heavy lifts in general. So last year I tried a lot to fix my cardio because of this, and I will go now 6 years before, when I started my CrossFit sessions, uh, because I was like 65 kilos or 67. I couldn't lift heavy kilos, so I try a lot to fix my technique, to work on this, and because I had very good teachers, I I think that I have a very good technique.
And during this block of training, you were programmed by Throwdown Programming. How
Yes,
did you make the decision that that programming was right for you and they were the right coaches for you?
I will tell you. Before 3 years, I was at the Athens Throwdown, and I spent a lot of hours of training. I had big trainings, and I for for one whole year I didn't do anything, just looking for what I have to do in my day and what I have to do when I go to the games. But when I play there to the Athens Throwdown, I was very disappointed, because my last programming, maybe it wasn't so individual to me. And for 1 month I stopped everything, because maybe it was I was in the small line, ready to break and to stop everything for CrossFit and just go back to the gym, to the normal gym. But in these 3 days when I was in Athens, I met my coach now, and we talked a little bit, and I saw that he has the mentality, he has the knowledge, he has everything I just wanted to see from my coach. And with him, I started my programming. I went to the Cyprus Throwdown the same year, and with only 3 months of training with him, I saw a very big increase of everything about me.
You mentioned that your next stage in your CrossFit career is to become an elite athlete. And
Yeah.
with your coach's mentality and mindset, and with the knowledge that he's got, do you feel that the combination of you and your coach, you can get to that level? And what is next for you as a CrossFit athlete?
Yes, I think that with my coach, the last 2 years, we have a very good connection. He understand. He now he know me. He knows what is my disadvantages, what is my advantages. He knows how to prepare me for everything. And if you see the last 2 years, um my how to say it, how I go to the finals from the throwdowns,
Yeah.
it's a little bit uh, different from the other years, because I started with scale. I played the intermediate in England the same year, and the next game it was as an elite, because I play once as an elite, and in 30 I was sixth, so it's not so bad.
And what can we expect to see from you in the future? You said, obviously, and I mentioned elite competitions, but what is the end goal? Is the end goal the CrossFit Games, or is it to be the best athlete you can be?
I am trying to do my best, because I promised to myself before 15 years, when I was a fat boy.
I was there as well.
In the school I was a fat boy, so I started to do fitness and everything. So I promised to myself that if I have the power, if I have the strength, the energy to put all the effort of anything I am doing. So I just want to be the best version of me. I don't have a dream to go to the games, but maybe I have a dream to, when I play, to throw downs or stuff like that, to finish the throw down and to say that, okay, I'm 100%, I give everything I had.
You said that you may not have what it takes to get to the CrossFit Games just due to the level and the caliber of athletes that there are in Greece, being a national champion. But you do definitely have the athleticism to take you to a sanctional event. Is there a sanctional event that you would like to take part in? Or is that something that you'd look to do?
Yes, I would like to participate in a sectional event, of course. This year, my goal was the French throwdown. I want to participate, but finally, with quarantine and everything is cancelled. But if I have an opportunity, I wanted to go to French throwdown.
But if we look at the lockdown / quarantine as a highlight for your career, possibly, because if we weren't in lockdown, you may not have gone through that 12-week cycle, because now your numbers are much higher than what they were. What were your numbers at the beginning of your cycle, and what were the number? And I mentioned the numbers at the end of your cycle.
Yes, I had 105 snatch.
Okay, so you added 5 kilos in 12 weeks.
5 kilos, yes. And clean and jerk, I had 127.5.
So 4.5 onto that?
Yes.
Nice. So some good numbers that people would dream of getting just in 12 weeks.
Yes, my dream was to have like 130 and 110.
Yeah.
But I wanted to tell you that in the middle of this strength cycle, I thought that maybe my snatch will be 115 and my clean and jerk will stay like 125.
But it turned out the opposite way around, and you got what you wanted on your snatch, and you
Yes,
blew past
I was very sure for the snatch because I like the movement. I am very good at this. But for the clean and jerk, I was very afraid. Maybe because my legs wasn't so strong enough to lift so heavy in clean and jerk.
For people that are listening, they could actually go on your Instagram and probably see your daily routine of what you did, because you are quite the Instagrammer. You do upload regularly and daily, so they can go on and see your PBs, your big lifts, and how the last 12 weeks of training has gone.
Yes, of course. I use a lot the Instagram. I think that there are some people, they follow me because of my training and because they like me, because I am very friendly.
And I feel on that positive note that we've covered a lot of ground on this podcast, on this episode. I think that it's perfect time to wrap up the podcast and let you carry on with your day. Is there anything that you would like to add on to this podcast that we may have missed? Because I'd like to think that we can get you on for a second episode and maybe dive a bit deeper, life after quarantine, lockdown, and see what competitions you're going to have upcoming, what you've got booked in, how close you are to being a sanctional athlete, and then from what can we see in the future to what we are going to see in the future.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much for your hospitality. I'm very happy to talk to you. And for me, it's very interesting, very big to have people from so far, like England. And I'm very happy to meet you at the European Championship and to have now this connection.
Thank you for your time, Nikos. And we shall catch you soon.
Thank you very much.